enjoying themselves. Also, we have a gaming interest group. So I never figured out how to solve this, but I think this is how it works. We have a sleeping lab. We have talks. So this talk is about voting machines by a technical university professor. We have someone sitting here to the right, not on camera, from the National Assembly in Austria. We have technologists, professors, students, people from the city of Vienna there. So we are really in this government district to actually influence their policy and get into contact with them. We have lots of talks to bring people together and help them exchange. So we've had a meta day with people who are, part of them are sitting in the audience, for example, but on various hacking topics, on enabling spaces. This is someone from the Vienna University of Business, Economics. Is a talk about how space, physical space, can enable people to start innovation. This was our first Startup Friday talk about how to burn venture capital in the 90s, about wireless, about CA cert, data retention, spam fighting at the University of Vienna, and so on. We have other topics too, like Lisp, microcontrollers, directing films, securing various things, maths, and so on. Regular events, and so on. We also have sweatshops by children, for children, workshops, I mean. And Pirate Theater, which is a Monkey Island play we had at the MetaLab a while back. Electronic experiments. Cellular automatons, also as decoration for parties, LED throwies, city decoration projects, beautification, social networking analysis, experimental memetics, or theoretical, practical memetics, Go, and so on. So how does it work? How do we do this in Vienna? Well, we have 110 people who are members right now, and they pay 20 euros a month, which means we can pay our rent, and then we add as little bureaucracy as possible, and we have a self-financed place where people can work on their projects. And the really nice thing about this, people come together there and can exchange information with each other, and have some sponsors there to buy equipment or finance renovation of the lab. And then we started off with having, well, this. And with a lot of magic and hard work by people, we finally got there. We opened up and started with an accident of a different group. So the CCC, the Chaos Computer Club, wanted to come to Vienna at the same time when we opened up shop. But the place where this event should have happened, it wasn't finished yet. It wasn't renovated yet. So we got the key on the same day, and we decided, okay, let's do this at the MetaLab. And 200 members of the CCC visited us in Vienna, and we built up this place and put wireless on the top of the building and had this conference. And then after some more work and decorating and so on, we came here to doing projects, getting more people there, starting startups, building communication infrastructure, building a wiki with information on the whole project, having mailing lists, communicating or building presentations together in collaborative text editors, having a Jabber server where everyone who signs up sees everyone else who is signed up. And we have 240 people on this Jabber server right now, which is an immense value to just staying in contact with the whole scene in Vienna. And Well, lots of self-built stuff like this clock and also parties. So what it boils down to is, I think, what really matters for having cool new stuff and actually influencing the world we live in is to actively participate, create the things that are going to shape our future. Not saying, I don't use social networks or I don't use hosted webmail or this or that, but actively participating in shaping it and deciding the direction it takes. So, I'm making this short because it's just, it feels so huge to me, but what I'm really keen on is getting in contact with people who feel the same way about making a difference through actively starting projects, starting startups, and being a part of the change that is happening right now in different cities. Because in Vienna we've had really good success in talking to the city, to funding agencies, and to corporations in actually supporting this movement. We've even got support for coming here to this camp and financing people who couldn't afford to come here with us. And I think this is possible in different cities, and I think we might even make it easier to lobby on the level of the European Union if people from different countries came together and discussed these issues together. Well, that's about it. I'm sorry it got a little bit short, but I would be very interested in your questions.
Questions?
Hi, I'm from KSRF Dortmund, and I'm wondering how you get so much people together, because we're existing for at least, I think, 6 years, I'm not quite sure, and we're at maybe 30 people, but not 200, and Dortmund is not too much smaller than Vienna, so I'm really wondering how you get so much people together.
The question is, you're from Karlsruhe?
Sorry?
Where are you from?
Dortmund.
Dortmund. So the question is, why do we have so many people? I think one aspect is we just started out. We are, of course, benefiting a lot from there has been nothing in Vienna. You have had it for 6 years. There has been nothing in Vienna till last year. We just opened up on the 10th of April last year. And another factor which I think is really important is we are not trying to force any direction on what we are doing. We're saying this place is open for anyone who uses it productively, who creates things and also who shares some basic values of helping each other and exchanging with each other. And the main reason is really good people, like who really worked hard to make this happen. Going outside, making laser graffiti, making all this cool stuff which just inspires people.
Hi, sounds fantastic. I was just trying to imagine this happening in London and thinking about how it would be, but I had a few questions from that. One, do you have any idea of the demographics of your club? Like, I'd be interested to know whether people were in work, whether you had a lot of students, what kind of makeup was there, and also were there any problems that you'd suggest thinking about or talking about, for groups trying to do a similar thing?
Well, I think we have pretty diverse demographics. We have people down to about 14 years, regular visitors, and up to, well, way above 60, I guess. We have about the same amount of women to men ratio as here, I guess. And we have many students, we have many unemployed, working unemployed. We have many people who do consulting. I think this could almost, it's quite a few people who do consulting in security, with Linux and systems. But we didn't really start out with a team. So the two biggest lessons I think we made is, don't fixate your team immediately at the beginning. Don't ask who wants to do this, but start doing it and see who comes along for a few months and make regular meetings, keep people updated. Excuse me. And the second thing is, don't try to prevent anything from happening before it happens. If a problem comes up, have faith in your community that you can fix the problem. But if you fix it beforehand, it's like putting a lot of advertisement and payment stuff on your growing website, and users are going to hate it. They are not going to come. Do everything you do, not to make money, not to finance it, not whatever, but to make people love your place, to really feel at home, to feel it's theirs. Because if they do, there's very little you can do wrong. Because if people love it, they will fight for it.
Hi. So I understand you provide an infrastructure for people to be creative, and so people start projects. But what I would like to know is how you provide a bridge to the business side. I mean, what kind of relations do you maintain businesses to ease these people to help start up a real business?
That's a really tough question in the sense that the whole concept of a community-run space pretty much is at odds with the concept of someone profiting of it. So, for example, it would be a really, really bad thing. A lot of people have gotten jobs through the MetaLab. One company, our first sponsor, got 5 employees within a few months from the MetaLab in the other direction. But it would be really bad if a person were to profit from the place, if I got paid or if something else. The same thing happens if a company I'm involved with gets too involved with the lab because of my position as, moderating within the community. If I were to take advantage of that, I would think that's really bad. That could kill the community. On the other hand, if we want to have projects start, and I'm interested in this, I'm working actively to network. So what we are doing is, as a MetaLab, nothing. What I'm personally trying to do is, on a mostly separate level, I founded a venture capital company which invests in the size of about 20,000 euros just to help people start their prototype. And I'm also I have built up a lot of contacts, I'm providing them, I have other partners along with contacts to different parts of business. But it's a tough question, it's just, you can't really do it without erring, I think, but with these things you need to err on both sides. If you err on only one side, you know you're fucked.
You mentioned that the EU is practically swimming in entrepreneurs' money or founding money, but you need to be pretty big to start. Did you manage to tap that resource for really small startups?
Not really, because there's 2 things that get in the way of that. One of them is what's it called? In our constitution, there's something called the equality Gleichheitsgrundsatz. Can someone translate that? Equality principle, yeah. So what this is saying is any funding by the public hand needs to be done on principles of objective criteria. You need objective criteria, and this is the enemy of any kind of innovation, because you cannot categorize innovative things. Bureaucrats don't understand innovative things, so they cannot use objective criteria. So you have a lot of bureaucracy, you have pages. I think it's at least for one of the funding